If you're thinking about moving and you want to learn about what everyday life is going to be like in your new town, this is the place for you. On Open House, we sit down with local, top producing real estate agents to help you find the best places to live in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So if you don't want buyer's remorse and you want to find your dream town, we are here for you. So go ahead and book a free call with us and we'll help guide you to the area that is right for you. Now, let's jump in and learn about your new home.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Open House. I'm Zach, and today we're going to be talking with Miguel Eversley, a local resident and expert in Rockville, Maryland. We're going to be covering everything from homes to entertainment. So, Miguel, thanks for coming on the show today.
Hello, Zach. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. I'm doing great. I'm excited. Just to kick things off, how about you tell us how long you've been an agent and what you love about living in Rockville?
So I've been an agent for about 3 years. What I like about this area is Rockville is sort of a central location, and it has a ton of stuff going on in the city of Rockville. We are close to Washington, D.C. We are close to Virginia. So as far as having access to a number of areas, cultural events, and things like that, historical locations, it's a fantastic place to live.
Sweet. It sounds really accessible.
It is.
That's good. Well, let's talk about the size, because I know when people are looking for somewhere to move, they typically care about how big it is and how much it costs to live there. So what's the population of Rockville, and is it more city, suburban? What's the overall feel?
Rockville is part of Montgomery County, and Montgomery County it's quite a big county. But the population of Rockville, which doesn't include the population of the Montgomery County, is about 68,000 people.
And would you say it's more urban or suburban or rural?
You know, one of the things I like about Rockville is a mostly suburban, but it does have rural areas. It's a very, very diverse community, and you will see that reflected every day when you're walking down the streets downtown or going to the stores. It's a thing that my family appreciates. And
that's awesome. What's the median home price? Because that's a big deciding factor in where people want to live.
Well, being in a mostly suburban area of the country and being so close to the capital, and it's about, the median is about 600,000.
Okay. That's not bad. And the types of houses, because I've talked with some agents about areas that only have townhomes and condos, and then others only have single family homes. What's the mix like out in Rockville?
Well, Rockville has an outstanding mix of all of that stuff. You have unattached single family homes in some areas, condominiums and apartment buildings, and then we have a lot of townhouses and stuff like that. Lately, what I've been seeing is the construction of townhouses in the area of Rockville.
Are those townhomes being built closer to that downtown area that you mentioned?
Well, the downtown area is saturated, so it's a little further.
Well, that's a good. Those are some good logistics for people to know. I am curious about economics. I know that government jobs are huge in the DC area, so there are probably quite a few government workers in Rockville that commute to DC. I'm curious how far DC is from Rockville, and then also what do other people do for work in Rockville?
Rockville, as part of Montgomery County, has a large population of federal workers. I was one of them. And as far as commuting, we have probably some of the worst traffic congestions every morning during rush hour. But we also have a metro system, and a lot of people use the metro, such as what I did. For me, it was about an hour to my place of work, which was in Northern Virginia. And it took me about an hour, but depending on where you're going, it could take you anywhere between, I would say, 20 minutes to an hour to get to your.
Gotcha. Just depending on the time of day.
During rush hour, there were more trains running. than during
Okay.
the dawn hours. So.
That makes sense. I am curious about schools. I know that Maryland, Virginia, they get praised for their school systems. What schools are available in Rockville, and are they just public or are they private, or what does that look like?
So, as you would think, because of the size of the population, there is, of course, private schools. Um, there's religious schools, and there are just, regular private schools, secular private schools. Um, there are also public schools, and those public schools here are highly rated.
Gotcha. Do you know how many main public high schools there are in Rockville?
Rockville does not necessarily manage the schools. There's another authority, is the Montgomery County school system. I know of at least 2 or 3 different high schools and like 4 different elementary schools.
Well, for 68,000 people, that's not bad at all. So that's cool.
And the kids, my kids at least, enjoy the schools a lot.
That's good to hear, especially for, families with kids in school. They always want to hear that. So you mentioned a downtown area earlier. Can you tell me about the downtown area and what kinds of things there are to do?
I like the downtown area here. It's the city center. I believe it's the 4th of July parade or the Thanksgiving parade. There is a ton of restaurants in that area. It's a very, very happening area. And around the downtown area, there are a number of new apartment buildings and complexes that were recently built, or some that are not as new, but they're right there. So it's a really hip sort of living, when you can just go down the stairs or your elevator and come out, and there's a row of restaurants for you to choose from. Or you can hear the kids in the summer playing in the plaza with the water things shooting out of the ground and stuff like that. Or during the winter, where they put the skating ring, and the place is saturated with parents and kids just having a good time.
That's really cool. I know splash pads are really popular, obviously, in the warmer months. And then you said they put an ice rink down in the colder months?
Yes. Right in the plaza that I just mentioned, they put an ice skating ring in the winters.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So that kind of brings me to the outdoors then, because this does sound like the most urban area of Rockville. What is the city park situation like? Are there good city parks? Are there hardly any at all? What is that like?
The general area of DC, Maryland, and Virginia, there is a ton of parks, and Rockville is no exception. Nearby where I live, there's a lake called Needwood Lake. There's a park where I go to run, and there are parks in different parts of the city that people can go. And you really cannot get bored in Rockville.
That's cool. What about outside of Rockville? What are there some other things to do in the outdoors?
Not too far from here, but I'm talking about a couple of hours.
Sure.
There is a skiing resort. I once went with my wife and my kids. I hate the cold weather, so I stay away from those locations. There's a plethora of places for people to go see and entertain themselves.
How far are you from the beach?
We are about 4 hours, but of course there are areas of the beach or cities within the coast that are closer.
Well, I mean, mountains not too far north of you, and then the beach is not too far away as well. So that's pretty cool.
There's an area, and I don't want to mispronounce the name of the area, but it's something like, I really don't want to mispronounce it, but there are wild horses running around the place.
Really?
So you could be on the beach and the horses will walk right by you. Don't have any food out because they will take it. There are places where you can go camp, and the horses, they could walk around at any time. They're not violent or anything like that. You're not in danger, but they will go into your campsite and grab your food.
That's really cool. Yeah, I've done quite a few of these interviews now, and I've never heard of that place. So that's cool. How far away is that, you said?
Well, it's in the coast. It's about 4 hours from here.
Okay. Huh. I'm curious. So I'm curious about Rockville. Do you know how it got its name, or what the story is behind Rockville?
Back in the 1700s, it was a small little tiny town. It evolved and it started growing, but during the Civil War, because Maryland, or parts of Maryland, or the Maryland population supported the Confederacy, there is a lot of places where you go and you will read about Confederate general and his troops going through here, or a battle took place here, or the Union chased the Confederates from this area of the town and stuff like that. And Rockville became Rockville in the 1800s. Prior to that, it was named something else.
That's some cool history. I mean, the fact that we don't know why it's called Rockville is kind of, I mean, maybe there were a bunch of rocks one day and then now there's not a bunch of rocks. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't think I ever know, but I will look it up.
Well, that's cool. Miguel, I think that was a really, really good overview of Rockville and what someone could expect if they were to visit or want to move there. So thanks for taking the time to share about it. I think we all learned something new today.
Thank you for the opportunity to be in this interview. I really appreciate it.